Hey guys, welcome back to our 100-day challenge, and today is day 17, and today we are going to start a new module, that is AWS. And you know that AWS is leader in the cloud platform, right? So this module is very important if you want to learn DevOps and cloud together. So what exactly AWS is, let's understand in one line. So it's a cloud computing platform that revolutionized the way we manage our IT infrastructure. So we are going to dive in different sections. Let's talk about them one by one. So let's understand what we are going to cover in today's session. We will talk about the AWS high level overview. Then we will talk about how to get started with AWS step by step. If you are new, don't worry, we will go step by step here. Next, we will talk about something related to AWS core services, which is required for our application and services to run in cloud platform. Next, we will go through the live demo where I'll show you where you need to create your AWS account. That will be free. You just need a credit card that will just for authorization purpose. Then we will see how AWS platform look like or AWS portal look like, where we can request our services or create any machine or anything. So we will just explore today how the platform will look like after we sign up. In the last, we will summarize whole session, and then we'll talk about what we are going to cover in next section. So guys, technical skill is one side, and if you want to learn how I created this whole presentation in just 2 to 3 minutes, I'll share the link in the description box. You can go through that one and learn how you can use AI to create such beautiful presentation in 2 minutes. So now let's start for today's content. First, let's understand what is AWS is, right? So AWS is a cloud platform offering which provide broad range of services like compute, storage, database, network, AI, IoT, analytics services, developer services. So there are hundreds of services provided by AWS, and these are the services which we get it over the internet. So it's a cloud computing platform which provide resources as a service over the internet, so we can consume. So we just need to pay what we are using. So what is the benefit of using AWS? So AWS provide many features that is very much required for our application or services to keep up and running. So few features are scalability, flexibility, speed, durability, high availability. Whatever terms you know about to keep your services up and running, AWS provide those all. Some of the key benefits of using AWS here I mentioned, and we can quickly provision resources with just few clicks. We will also see when we will go through the live demos how quickly you can create a virtual machine without spending anything in advance. Okay, now we will understand overview of AWS services. As I mentioned that AWS is having hundreds of services. I think if we talk about a number, it's a 200 plus individual services AWS provides to cater your requirements. So the thing is, we will deep dive into some of the most popular services like EC2. It's like a virtual machine. We will talk about AWS Lambda. It's a function which we can use. It's a serverless computing services. Then we will talk about S3 storage. That is a storage services provided by AWS to use our static or dynamic content. We can use it. So let's understand one by one. Now the time how we can start with AWS, right? So before going to start AWS, you need a AWS account. Then only you will be able to use it. So how you can do it? You just need to go to AWS account website where you can create your account with the required detail. You just need to provide and follow some steps. There are 5 steps process that you need to follow. Then your account will be created. Then we need to log in into our AWS account, and we need to explore the console there. Means we will explore the platform. It's just a web-based platform which you can access from any of the devices, either mobile, laptop, tablet, or you can use your computer or remote machines. Whatever platform or interface you are having, you will be able to access these AWS portal through which you can access your resources as well. After that, we can create our first instance in AWS. In whenever I'm talking about instance, that is EC2 instance, that is kind of a virtual machine for us. So we can create quickly one instance as well there. Okay, so these all things we will do in our live demo today. Next section is about AWS compute services. So what are these services are? As I mentioned, these are the services which is helpful or useful for our application, because our application will run directly on these platform, either one of these. We are going to talk about three here. So first service we are having in compute EC2, it's like a virtual machine for us that you can configure according to your application requirement, and it will host your application and run perfectly. Next service is Lambda. Lambda is a serverless compute services, which I mentioned. It's kind of a function that we want to run when we need to perform any task. So it's a serverless service. It doesn't mean that it doesn't require any server to run the service. Here, the serverless means you no need to manage any server or underlying platform for this one. So you no need to worry about anything, how to manage, who will manage. Everything will be done by cloud provider. You just need to focus on your code, what you want to run for your activity. Next is ECS, that is Elastic Container Service. It's a container management service from AWS, which makes easy to run, stop, or manage your Docker containers on a cluster of EC2 instances. So as you know, we can run our application on virtual machine, we can run our application on container, we can run our application through some code. So these all three services provide those things. We are having different categories under these services. We will talk about in detail when we will go through individual section. Next we are going to talk about storage services. So first service we are having today, S3. S3 is a storage service in AWS, which offer to hold any kind of data you are having. It's a object storage. So any kind of object, either it is text, image, video, whatever object you are having, you can use this storage to host that thing. Next, we are having EBS, that is Elastic Block Storage, which provide block level storage volume to EC2 instances. With this storage, we can create storage that is fully integrated with your EC2 instances. You can understand this storage like your hard disk within your computer. Okay, so with the instance, we can use this EBS storage where our OS will be stored. Next, we are having Glacier, as it's a low cost, or we can say the cheapest storage service in AWS, which is mainly used for backup or archiving purpose, which require long-term data storage. So it's suitable for storing infrequent access data. The data which we don't require frequently, we can use Glacier storage for that one, and we can keep our data for longer period of time through this storage service. Now let's talk about the networking and CDN services. What are these? So first service we are having VPC. It's like virtual private cloud, or we can say the separate part, or we can say it's a logical network within whole organization or whole AWS network that is directly belongs to you. Once you will create your instances within this VPC, by default they will have the connectivity. Okay, so networking services is mainly used for connecting resources, or we can say the machines all together. So this is very important service in AWS when we are talking about networking. So everything related to networking like subnets or gateways, everything you need to use within this VPC. Next service we are having CloudFront. Next service we are having CloudFront. It's a content delivery network service. It means CDN service that speed up the delivery of your static and dynamic web content. It's like it's using caching, and it is hosted near to the end user where your user base is. So that help us to speed up your website traffic, or we can say the connectivity, or it provide low latency network for your content. So user can easily access it quickly. Next is Route 53. It's like a DNS service in AWS. Route 53 is a scalable and highly available DNS service in AWS that routes traffic to the internet applications hosted on AWS. So these are the few important services in networking. Now let's go through the live demo. So guys, to create AWS account, you need to come to Google and you need to search AWS login. Then you will see these links, right? The AWS account link and the console link. So to create account, you can use any one of the link here. AWS console login, you will come to this page from the first link, which is mentioned on Google. So here you will see the options about sign in and creating your AWS account. So you can use this create an AWS account that will help you to create your AWS account. Okay, so I have already an account created my account with AWS. So what I am going to use it, I'm going to use sign in to the console. So let me sign in and then I'll show you how the session will look like. So now you can see I have already signed in this account. Here is my account, and here you can see all the services which is provided by AWS through which we can request any service which we want to launch. So if you want to create any service, you can, if you don't know where to go, you can directly search here. If you want to create EC2 instance or EC2 scaling group, you can come here. Once you will search all the listed services related to EC2, you will see here, right? So to create EC2, you need to come to this one and you can directly go to this launch instance or click on this EC2. So on this EC2 instance page, you can see here the launch instance option. From here, you can create any EC2 instance for you. So let's create it. You can just provide the your machine name here. Then you need to choose your operating system image which you want to use. It's a Linux, Windows, you want to whatever you want to choose, you can choose. I'm just using by default one and that is available for free tier one I'm using. Here it's a instance type, what type of configuration it should be. So here we are having some t-shirt sizes that we can also change, and here we can create the keys for our account if you want to access it from the command line interface. So this is the one, and you can have the options here. Next thing, you need to click on launch instance page. Once you will click on this one, it will ask you want create a new key pair or you want to use it without key pair. If you want to access it, then it's better to create a key pair for you. If you don't want, then you can go directly here with this option, but you will not be able to access it. It's just we can see if our instance is created or not, that we can do it from here. We can do it, we just need to follow, and now you can see our instance is creating, and we got the success message within a second. So now we can see our instance is created or not. Our instance is created and the state is pending. So it's just taking some time to create this one. After some time it will be into running state. Now you can see it's here. You can see other details as well related to your instance. Once you will click here, you will see the instance ID here. You can see the IP address belongs to this instance. You can see which image or platform it is having, and if you want to check how much storage it is having, you just need to come to this storage tab. Here you can see the size of this one. You can also modify these settings whenever you need it. Okay, if you want to connect, you just need to click on connect here, then you can access this one. Similarly, if you want to create any other resource in AWS, you just need to search. Like you want to create resource group for your account, you can create search for resource group and you can use it. Similarly, we will explore more this platform once we will go in individual sessions. So for the timing, we are just winding up this session for the demo. Let's go back to the summary for the today's session. Now it's time to wrap up this session as we have gone through the core high level overview of AWS, and also we have seen how AWS portal looks like, where we can search the services, where we can uh, launch the services, that everything we saw, everything we have seen in the demo. So let's recap of the key points for today's session. That AWS is a cloud platform that offers a broad range of services. Next thing, you can set up your AWS account your own and navigate to the portal and start creating your own instances. Also we understood that AWS offers hundreds of services. Out of them, the core services we are having compute, storage, and network along with CDN services. So this is how what we discussed in today's session. Next step for using AWS: to get started, just create your own account, explore AWS documentation, and practice with labs what is available over the internet. And also you can use YouTube videos. I have already created many videos on AWS. You can go through other videos on my channel. So hope it will help you to understand AWS better. So guys, I hope you find this video helpful. If you find it, then don't forget to click on like button, share with your friend so it can help them as well. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep transforming. See you in next video.